Namaskar. The topic of the module today is on natural energy resources. Let us imagine a situation that there is no petrol or diesel in all the petrol bunks for a week in a country. What will be the situation for all human beings? Everybody will have to go to the office by walk. There will be no trains, no buses, no lorry movements and no transport of goods. Imagine a situation that there is no electricity for a week. It will be very difficult for all of us to manage the office, industries and residences. Many cities will be in darkness. Today, human life is fully dependent on the energy sources all over the world. Without energy, many things cannot be done. The demand scenario for such energy is increasing several fold along with the growing population. Everything requires energy in one form or the other. Without energy, you may not be able to watch this TV program. If there is no electricity in the houses, the fans will not work, mixer, washing machines, grinders, water pumps, all these family aid items cannot be used by us. The usage of energy by human beings dates back to several centuries. Energy is the capacity to perform work. Energy may be obtained directly from an energy source or it may be obtained indirectly. The planet Earth has enormous amounts of many energy resources. These resources are classified into two major groups as renewable and non-renewable energy sources. The renewable sources are those which will be available for our human consumption again and again. The energy derived from water as hydroelectric power, sun as solar energy and wind energy are the renewable energy sources. It also includes now the bioenergy sources today. The non-renewable energy sources are those which are permanently consumed for generating the energy and needs further supply. Fossil fuels like coal, oil and gas, fissionable materials for nuclear power generation and geothermal energy sources come under this category. Natural energy sources and resources are very important aspects to be studied. Hence, in this lesson, the kinds of natural energy resources used by us are going to be seen. The energy resources are classified into the following 5 categories: energy from fossil fuels, energy from sun and wind, energy from water, energy from biomass, and the energy from nuclear and other sources. If we look at the global energy consumption, 37% of the energy is consumed from petroleum resources, 24% is derived from natural gas, 20.9% is derived from coal, 8.8% is derived from uranium, 4.1% is derived from biomass, 2.8% is derived from hydropower, 0.4% is derived from geothermal sources, 0.7% is derived from wind and only 0.1% is derived from the solar and other sources. Almost 91.7% is obtained through non-renewable sources and only 8.3% is derived from the renewable energy sources. If we see the energy used by the type of the industry, almost 32% is used in the petroleum refining industries, 24% is consumed by the chemical industries, 11% is used by the paper industries, 8% is used by the metal industries, and all other industries put together use about 25% of the energy in the world. The energy resources are derived from coal, oil and natural gas are considered as energy from fossil fuels because They have been explored from the fossilized remains of prehistoric plants and animals. Coal is an altered residue of plants and trees of older forests which have been buried under sediments, and they are subjected to a set of geological processes and transformations. Coal is burned to create heat to turn water into steam. The steam is then used to rotate the turbines which will rotate the dynamos to generate electricity. It is also converted into another usable form of energy called coke. It is a charcoal like solid which is essentially used as a raw material in the production of iron and steel industries. Coal occurs in sedimentary basins as coal seams or layers. Coal is mainly used in thermal power plants. The production of thermal energy depends on the ash content of the coal used. Higher the ash content, lower the efficiency of the boilers and furnaces. The use of coal also generates solid waste and ashes. For every megawatt of energy produced by a thermal plant, about 1 acre of land is needed to dump the wastes. Coal based thermal plant pollutes the atmosphere by gaseous emissions of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide. They also produce tremendous amounts of solid waste, fly ash and bottom ash. Coal is a non-renewable form of energy, the use of which is to be done very economically. The next major source of energy is derived from oil. The oil that is derived from rocks is called as rock oil or petroleum. Petro means rock, oleum means oil. Petroleum furnishes about 40% of the commercial energy used in the world. It provides most of the energy used for transportation and other activities of the population. In general, petroleum and natural gas are hydrocarbons. They are fossil fuels formed from organic materials escaped from the complete decomposition after burial. Petroleum is a complex mixture of hydrocarbons containing nitrogen, sulfur and oxygen. The major source for oil and gas is the fine grained organic rich sediments that are buried to a depth of 500 meters or below the stagnant oceanic waters. Like coal, oil also contains some impurities that can cause air pollution, but refineries can remove many of these pollutants when they process the petroleum. Natural gas is the most convenient fossil fuel. It causes little or no air pollution. Natural gas is a clean source of energy because it is refined naturally during its formation within the earth and does not require further refining. In addition, it can be compressed into a liquid and transported long distances through pipelines. Natural gas is used for domestic and industrial applications. The consumption rating for different sectors of natural gas are: for manufacturing fertilizers about 36% is used, for power generation about 27% is used, for industrial sectors about 8% is used, and for the extraction of liquefied petroleum gas or cooking gas the rest are used. India has significant amounts of oil and natural gas resources. There are few revenue generating companies in the oil and natural gas productions in India. The energy received from the sun's electromagnetic radiation is called as the solar energy. It is also used to produce electric power. This is a non-conventional and renewable energy source. Solar power is one of the cleanest forms of energy. It does not generate any greenhouse gases or other pollutants. It uses no water and produces no waste. It does not contribute to global climatic issues. The solar power will become an important part of our energy for the future. There are two methods through which sunlight can be converted into electrical power. They are by using the photovoltaic conversion or the solar thermal conversion. There are also many ways to convert the sun's energy into heat and electricity. Passive solar energy is one type. This type uses sunlight for energy without the use of active mechanical systems. It ensures that buildings make the most use of the sun's radiation to regulate both light and temperature requirements. Solar thermal collectors are the second types. This uses the solar radiation falling on them to heat the tap water. They can also serve for space heating. Different types of photovoltaic modules are used to convert the solar radiation directly into electricity. Such modules are now used in buildings, especially in the rooftops. They are used as roof tiles also. Different types of solar thermal power plants are also using the solar heat by concentrating the solar radiation. They use mirrors which focus on the solar power tower or by means of parabolic troughs and heat the water and convey the steam to a turbine which can generate power. In some places, a simple mirror based system is used to save gas, kerosene or wood through solar cooking. It is reported that the solar energy falling on the earth every 29 seconds is equivalent to the human energy requirement for the entire day. That is a very important point to be noted by us. Solar energy comes from the sun and it is plentiful. The distribution is very sparse. It must be collected and concentrated to produce usable power. This requires some special devices. Hence, harnessing of solar energy is an expensive affair. A typical solar water heater consists of a coil of copper pipe braced to a blackened metal base. This assembly is covered by a transparent glass plate or a plastic sheet. The water which is passed through the coil gets heated up by the radiation. Very high amount of heat is trapped in this process during summer months. Solar energy is also caught to provide power using solar cells. Solar cells are the devices made from crystals of silicon to produce electricity from sunlight. They are called as photovoltaic cells. Research continues on the application of solar energy for pumping up water, use of solar energy for refrigeration, use of solar ponds and temperature control in buildings. Consumption by solar energy has many more advantages like unlimited power supply will be available, no way of producing air, water, thermal and noise pollution, no possibilities of large scale disasters in solar energy. They conserves earth's resources and the technology is available for immediate usage. The major disadvantage is the expenditure involved in establishing the photovoltaic plants. Solar cells are also very expensive. They cannot be completely used to replace the conventional fuels in some places or in some processes. Next comes the wind energy. The global wind energy potential is also very huge. It can be harvested everywhere. We get a good flow of wind in the valleys, on the mountains, at or near the seas. In India, China, European Union and the United States of America, these are all the major wind energy producing countries in the world. The rapid depletion of fossil fuels and the increase in the environmental pollution call for an efficient use of other energy sources and to identify the alternative energy sources also. Wind is a powerful agent for providing power. It is the best renewable energy source available on the earth. Wind energy can be harnessed very easily. The blow of wind is allowed to rotate the blades of a windmill which is coupled to a turbine. This drives the power generator to produce electricity. There are some merits and demerits in using wind energy. The generation period is very low, that is only 5 months of a year we can produce wind energy. This is because of the seasonal availability of a reasonably useful wind. Power generation starts immediately after the commissioning of the plants. Power is cost free, generation is cheaper, but the recurring cost is also very less. The installation cost is very heavy. The maintenance of the machinery is also very expensive. So, this is a pollution free and environment friendly generation of power. A wind power plant is also a source of income. The size of commercial wind turbines can vary between 250 kilowatt and 6 megawatt. A 5 megawatt turbine can produce more than 15 million kilowatt of power supply in a year. This is enough to power 1500 to 15,000 houses depending upon their average electricity consumption. A single 1.5 megawatt wind turbine over its lifetime can save about 80,000 tons of brown coal usage in our life. The future of wind energy lies in large scale onshore and offshore wind parks that connect to the regional power grids to provide clean and efficient electricity. Biogas is the methane gas produced or released from the organic waste like sewage, garbage, manure or crop residues. These are decomposed substances in the absence of air. This is similar to the natural gas in origin. Biogas can be collected using a container filled with the waste and closed at the top with a tap for trapping the gas. The wastes are mostly animal excreta or dungs which are allowed to decay and decompose naturally inside the container. After producing the gas, the used up materials can be used as a high quality organic manure in the croplands or in the agricultural lands. Community biogas plants, industrial biogas plants, night soil biogas plants, family size biogas plants and improved chulas are some of the bioenergy sources employed and are under operational conditions in India and also in several other parts of the world. Biomass fuel is the common name given to all forms of fuel generating organic remains. These organic matter can be burned directly or indirectly as a fuel. A well-known popular biomass is the fuel wood. Wood was used as a major source of energy in several parts of the world for several centuries. Firewood is the best known biomass fuel. Cow dung or cattle dung is burnt for cooking purposes. The distillation of biomass is done to produce alcohol for fuel. There are three major sources as forest products, unused agricultural products and urban waste. All of them can be used as a biomass to produce fuel energy. The main advantage is that the biomass under several conditions can be recycled. The main disadvantage is that it is the requirement for an energy for processing the biomass into a convenient form of energy. So, one energy is required to produce another energy. Biomass energy is available locally, that is an advantage. Sugarcane farms and sugar production plants can use the straw and the dust to generate power. The main disadvantage is that the consumption of biomass fuel can produce air pollution, smokes, ashes and sometimes degrade the land areas. Liquid biofuels are yet another major sources of energy production. Ethanol and biodiesels are the major liquid biofuels. Ethanol is an alcohol fuel made from the sugars found in grains such as corn, sorghum and barley, potato skins, rice, sugarcane, sugar beets, yard clippings, barks and switch grasses. Biodiesel is a fuel made from vegetable oils, fats or greases such as recycled restaurant greases. Biodiesel fuel can be used in diesel engines without changing them. It is the fastest growing alternative fuel in places like United States. Biodiesel is a renewable fuel and a safe energy source. It is biodegradable and produces lower levels of most air pollutants than petroleum based products. Ethanol is a renewable fuel because it is made from plants. There are several ways to make ethanol from these sources. The following are the advantages of using biodiesel. Flexible fuel vehicles. Ethanol is non-toxic and biodegradable. Ethanol can reduce pollution. Biodiesel burns much cleaner than diesel. Biodiesel use may reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Hydroelectric power generation is a major source of energy over the globe for several decades. Water power furnishes about 7% of the world's commercial energy. Water costs nothing and cannot be used up, and it supplies energy without pollution. However, water power projects require a dam or a reservoir to be constructed, which are very expensive. A hydroelectric power plant can operate only where water flows from a higher altitude to a lower altitude. In several hilly and mountainous terrain, establishments of hydroelectric power plants on the perennial rivers has contributed to the major electricity generation usage in many countries. Hydropower is a renewable energy source. Historically, water wheels were used to generate mechanical energy to run the mills and also the machineries. Water power is a clean power. It requires no burning of any other fuel. These power generators do not pollute the atmosphere or the hydrosphere. Hydroelectric power is also combined with thermal power plants. With this combination, the thermal power plant can supply power if the hydroelectric power plant is affected by severe drought without water or rainfall. Next comes the tidal power. Tides and waves can generate enormous energy for consumption. The tides, which are dashing against the shores continuously, can generate the tidal power. Tidal power can be obtained by using a tidal dam built with a turbine. This is more expensive when compared to the hydroelectric power generators. Many of the environmentally conscious countries in the world depend on nuclear power for their electricity generation. At present, about 17% of the world's electricity is generated through nuclear sources. Nuclear source is a clean, compact and concentrated energy source. Nuclear power plants are similar to coal plants in that heat is used to produce steam to drive a turbine which can generate electricity. But the basic difference between them is the atomic fission instead of chemical combustion. A nuclear reactor requires a fuel substance whose nuclei can undergo fission. Such substances are called fissionable substances. Uranium 235 and plutonium 239 are the widely used nuclear fuel energy sources. In addition to the fuel, reactors require neutrons. These are the stimulators for chain reactions to happen. Safety, design and operation of reactors depend on the way by which these neutrons are managed in the power plants or reactor plants. Nuclear reactors are classified based on the fuel, the coolant and the moderators which are used to support the nuclear chain reactions. The natural concentration of uranium in the Earth's crust is about 2 ppm. Uranium originates in magma. It is concentrated to about 4 ppm in the granitic rocks, pegmatites and other rocks. They occur in a large number of minerals. They are called or radioactive minerals. They contain uranium or thorium as an essential part of their chemical composition. Some of them are oxides and complex oxides. The disposal of nuclear waste, some radioactive liquids, gases will affect the environment very severely. That is why in many places you have seen whenever there is a nuclear reactor established, people go on continuous strikes. Sources are also available in the form of fuel bundles, which once loaded into the reactor core can provide energy for 1 to 2 years at a stretch before discharging full energy. 1 kg of uranium gives an energy equivalent to 25,000 kg of coal energy produced. The next important energy source, natural energy source, is geothermal energy. This refers to the heat energy emanating from the Earth's interior, which could be used for heating or for generating electricity. Iceland, Italy, Japan and the Philippines, New Zealand and the United States have developed many geothermal power plants. The method is simple. By installing a pipe into the wells drilled over the regions of geothermal sources and connect them directly to a turbine which can generate electricity. Energy is needed for the present and future generations. Earth has various sources of energy. The non-renewable energy depletes very quickly due to the pressure of population. Harnessing the renewable energy is the prerequisite for our future survival. There is a slogan you all might have seen in the boards: energy saved is the energy produced. This is the mantra of the modern society. Let us save the energy and use it appropriately so that the generations can survive without any energy crisis.